Hello, I am Jeanette Paradiso and I'm here at the Addison Historical Museum, and I'd like to talk a little bit about one of our treasures that is a part of the museum's collection, and that is a binder that is full of the memoirs of a gentleman who used to live in our community. His name was Elmer Croggy, and he took the time to write out his thoughts and memories about a number of subjects. If you'd like to read these stories, you can locate them on the Addison Advantage website under the history link. Now today, since it's winter, I thought I would read a story about ice making in Addison. Before Addison got electricity in the year 1912 or 1913, people had to keep their food cold using ice. And they had a way of harvesting the ice and keeping it through the summer. So I'd like to read Mr. Croggy's memoirs about ice making in Addison. And he begins by saying, where Cherokee Park in Addison is located, there used to be a large slough. A slough is like a mud hole, which had water in it the year round. This was before it was filled and graded and sewers were laid through it. Here the students from the Addison Seminary would skate in the winter. They also skated on Salt Creek when frozen, but this was more the speed skaters' domain, not social skating as on a large pond. From this slough, ice was harvested in the winter. After the ice was about 10 to 12 inches thick, ice-making operations began. A special scoring plow was pulled by a horse over the ice. This created an inch or more deep score line. A hole was made by ice bars to start the operation. This bar had a sharp, flat cutting edge on one end and was about 5 1/2 feet long, made of iron. An ice saw with about 2-foot long teeth and 2-inch centers, very coarse, was used to cut the ice at right angles to the scoring line. Then the ice bar was used to break the ice into chunks, which weighed about 75 to 100 pounds or more. They were skidded onto a plank, onto a wagon or sled, if there was sufficient snow for sleighing, and hauled to the individual ice houses where a rope and pulley arrangement using a horse would pull the ice up. The block of ice was suspended from ice tongs. When the block of ice was lifted to the proper heights, men on the inside would grasp it with tongs and haul it into the ice house where it was stacked, one ice chunk on top of another, separated by several inches of sawdust to keep it from freezing together and to insulate it from the summer heat. The walls of the ice house were about 8 to 10 feet thick, and the space between the exterior and interior walls was filled with sawdust. Each saloon had an ice house, as also the orphan's home, the seminary, the butcher shop, and the cheese factory, until mechanical refrigeration machinery was installed, probably sometime after 1912. Ice was rarely harvested from the creek as the flowing water kept the ice from building up to a sufficient thickness. In a very severe winter, ice could be and was harvested from the creek. Each town had its ice houses and its ponds where ice was harvested. This ice was never broken into chunks and put in glasses to cool liquids for drinking purposes. Hard liquor was served warm or at ambient temperatures. Mixed drinks were not popular until a much later period. If you're interested in this subject, in the Century House we do have an ice box from the time period before electricity. Ice was delivered by an iceman in a large chunk. It was placed into the ice box and it would keep your food cool and safe. If you'd like to see an ice box and the tool that was used to bring the ice into the house, please visit us at the Century House. So if you would like to visit the museum, you can give us a call to make an appointment. Otherwise, we will return to our normal hours of being open on Saturdays from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. effective the beginning of March of 2015.